I am so thrilled to be here with Miss Jess Parker. Jess Parker, a amazing content creator, another amazing person I got to meet at D23 last year, which was a dream come true just to be there in general. So I'm super grateful to have her here. We're gonna be doing something for hopefully something that'll help a lot of people, which is really exciting. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. It's so exciting to be on.
I know, it's brand new. You're only the second person I've recorded anything with for this specifically. So you're kind of in my guinea pig era right now. But
there
yeah,
you
so
go.
you actually
we love guinea
you were
pigs.
one of the few creators I knew of before D23 that I actually met there. But I have to tell you like a little quick funny story. So like I think like I actually started seeing your content towards the beginning, when it's like Spider-Man and at Disney World or Disneyland. But so I was always familiar with your content, but there was a few, I think it was starting last February, there was a point where I honestly felt like I was losing my mind. And I say this in the most loving way possible. I honestly felt like I was losing my mind every time I turn on TikTok, because the first thing I would see would be your face in a Funko ad for like Valentine's Day, and it'd be like April, and I was like, Valentine's Day was 2 months ago! I'm sure she's a great human being!
That's so funny.
But please!
They just like kept pushing it.
It was like
get this.
It was a solid 2 months, and then when we met at D23, and I always knew you'd probably be a wonderful person, but then you were a wonderful person. I was like, alright, I guess I'll forgive Funko. But
you're like, oh my god, it's that girl.
I was like, oh my gosh.
In person, in the flesh.
She's gonna sell me custom Funko Pops. No, but we did have a great time at D23. We were, for those who don't know, at D23 they have these like nightly events for these presentations, and Jess and I were grouped together, and we were together all 3 nights, so we were just vibing, crying, screaming, all the emotions you could think of together. It was really bonding.
It was a wild couple 3 days. Like, I still think about those with so much of, like, especially as, like, the things they announced have been coming out. I'm like, oh yeah, that happened to D23. Like, I remember, like, sitting together and, like, crying about that. Like,
yeah, the Ironheart trailer just dropped, like, what was it, a couple weeks ago? And I remember I was like, I don't really think I can film a reaction to this because I just experienced this.
Yeah. Feels like yesterday, but also it was like so long ago now. Like, I can't believe that. Like, time flies.
We're gonna be at D23 in 2026 before we know it. Which, if we're not sitting together again during the nightly events, I may riot.
I know. We gotta like send in a request. Like, this is our formal request.
Absolutely.
Right now on this podcast.
By the way, I am recovering from a cold, so if I hack, I promise I am alive. There's no, I don't feel so good, Tony or Mr. Stark, whatever the line was. None of that happening here. It's all good. So speaking of, Spider-Man, is that how you initially got started with content? Was just Spider-Man straight off the bat?
It was mostly like Avengers in general, because I started posting my skits as like a fun, like I made like a little like fun series of like the Avengers going to Disney World. And the first one I did was actually Tony. And then Peter was my second one, and I had a whole bunch of people like in my comments being like, you kind of sound like a female version of Spider-Man, like that's kind of crazy. And originally at that point my username was just like my first and last name, so I was like, oh, I feel like I need to like change my username to be more fun. So I checked if female Peter Parker was open, and it was, and I snagged it.
Rest is history.
And then it kind of became my brand. Yeah. Like, and so for like a handful of years I was like, Spider-Man, like, and he still is. Like, I feel like people still really associate him with me, and honestly, great character to be associated with. I love him.
It's everyone's dream.
Favorite.
And you didn't even have to go through like rigorous audition process. You just claimed it, and everyone was like, okay, yeah, that's right.
They're like, yeah,
Go
this
you.
is you. Like, yeah.
We got you. I love that. Yeah, I mean, like I said, you've always done a great job with your videos, and I actually do really enjoy kind of seeing you branch out away with like Marvel. Like, I loved it's sitting right there behind you, like the painting series from Tangled. I love that. It's so much fun.
I feel like there's so many other fandoms that I love that I just never talked about, because I was really scared to like talk about it for a while. Like, I don't know if you've ever experienced this with your own content, but like, yeah, like when you talk about like one specific thing for so long, it's really hard to be like, what about this other thing that I like? Like, do you guys like this too? And so it took me a really long time to kind of like branch out of that bubble, and I feel like I'm finally getting into a groove of like sharing the other things I like. Like today, even I posted like a Phineas video, which I never would have posted.
I thought it was so accurate, by the way. I was like, yeah, she just I just watched the Phineas episode. This is perfect. You know, you nailed it.
The new season gave me the inspo. We
it was the Jessinator. That's gonna be the title of the series, justJessinators. I love that. But no, I do kind of understand what you're saying because, you know, I actually was looking at my content the other day and I was like, yeah, if I ever stop talking about Disney, that's 90% of my content, and I don't really know what I'm gonna do with that without it. But like, is it okay to branch out and do something different? And I think there's that level of, you know, it is a little discouraging because, you know, if I want to talk about, like, Superman's a great example. Nothing I ever do with Superman does well. Like, never. It never does well, and I can't, like, figure it out. But I think at the end of the day, there's going to be a point where most of the people who are sticking around are there for our passion and to see our passions. Mm-hmm. And I think as long as, if we are branching out, it's still something we're passionate about, then I think, like, I think eventually it'll be okay, right? And so that's why I just kind of keep trying to remind myself.
Exactly. And plus, like, as you post more about the other things too, you'll find more audience for that specific niche. Like I know there's people like that follow me now for like my Edna Mode skits that didn't follow me for Marvel, you know, and like that never would have happened if I didn't start branching out. So it's just like, it's such a learning curve, and like sometimes you're just throwing content at a wall until something sticks, and then you're like, oh, like, cool, we found something else.
I was like, I can talk about this now. It's like unlocking a new level in a video game. It's like I get to explore.
Exactly.
It's amazing.
But like overall, at the end of the day, though, I feel like as long as you're posting stuff that you enjoy talking about, like that's what matters the most. Like it shouldn't be about like how many views it gets, you know. It should be about like, I enjoy this thing, and like I want to post about this thing. And I think that really, like, finally putting that into my headspace really helped me with like the branching out and like posting about the Tangled wall and like all that other stuff, because it was just like, I'm doing this because I want to, and like if other people think it's cool, sweet, like they're along for the ride. I love
that. That is so true. It's a good reminder too. So when you are like creating these skits or trying to find new video ideas, like what's your process like?
Everyone always asks me this, and it's
every creator is different.
Like my process is so different, right? And I feel like my process for each time I film a skit is different every time too, because like sometimes I'll just like get ideas, like sometimes I'll get ideas that are inspired by the media I've been watching. So like I'll be like, oh, okay, like this is a good skit idea that I want to incorporate, but like with the Marvel characters, and I'll like do something like that. And other times I'll just be like going about my day-to-day life and like just think of something, and I'm like, perfect. Like that's kind of how like a good example is like Cooking with Thor was like a series that I had for a while, and that literally was just like, what if Thor had a cooking show like that, because I was like making lunch. Like,
it's a good idea. It's a good idea. Actually, right? That's another thing that you thwarted me on. Was my brother-in-law was like, oh, you should do a cooking series where it's like what Marvel characters would eat. And I was like, that's a great idea. And then I went on TikTok, and literally the first thing I see, Jess once again cooking with Thor. I'm like, I can't do it anymore. It's done.
Hey, look, you can do whatever you want to do. No stepping on any toes here. Also, that's such a good idea. That would be so fun.
It's fun to kind of like explore, just like throw things on the wall. I think people don't realize that, like, I think people think that a lot of content, and granted sometimes it takes a lot of planning and like writing and like editing, and yes, this is true, like sometimes it does, but a lot of the times people will be surprised how much is just an accident, right? Like,
yeah, no, seriously.
I always talk about how like my video with Allison where I'm yelling at a high-pitched voice was an accident. Like I did it because I couldn't edit it any shorter and it was too long, and so I just sped it up just to like not have to edit anymore. And then, it took off. Complete
like,
accident.
The short capacity, like the short mental, like, what's it called? Like, attention span. Everyone's like, perfect.
Like, this is good. This is, and you know what? It made me laugh. Actually, it made my wife laugh, which is always my first time, because she's a hard person to make laugh. And I think people always think I'm crazy, because, like, we walked out of the Thunderbolts premiere, And like one of the Disney reps was like, "Did you like it?" I was like, "Yeah, it was a really good movie." And I was like, "You know what? You don't know how like I know it was a good movie?" And they're like, "What?" I was like, "My wife really enjoyed it, and she is probably the hardest." There's that fly. Oh, I thought I caught it. It like slid. Oh, so close.
Full up almost Mr. Miyagi. That was crazy.
Wait. It landed on me and I caught it and then it went away. This fly is mocking me. So before we started filming, I was telling Jess that there's a fly in my office and it's literally tormenting me. And now it is part of the podcast.
It just wants to be. It
has opinions. But yeah, so I told him, I was like, my wife really like loved the movie, which is a huge compliment. And they were like, what? It's like, trust me, it's a good sign. This is like 95% of Rotten Tomatoes level good.
You're like, yeah, this is the level, and that's
yeah. I was like, this is my benchmark for everything, guys. Come on now.
I love that though. That's such a great benchmark to have.
It's very accurate. Yeah. So speaking of like Marvel and Thunderbolts, which again, it was so much fun to see you there. I was very excited. But do you have like, what is your? Because I'm assuming you also really enjoyed Thunderbolts, correct?
Oh, so good. I saw it again after we were at the premiere, and then I was like debating seeing it a third time. I might still try and see it a third time. I don't know if my theater.
I always say you don't truly know how good of like a movie is until you've seen it 3 times. Like if you walk out, like I walked out of Spider-Man No Way Home, and I was like, that one may be one of my favorite movies of all time. I can't confirm that until I've seen it 3 times. That's just me though, but I think it's very accurate.
You get to pick out all the little details you missed the first time around, or you're like, oh, like that was connected to the end, but we didn't realize.
Yeah, it's like you get like everything. You get the whole entire plate, and you know all the ingredients. You know what to expect. You know what's gonna not work for you, what you are gonna enjoy, and what you're still gonna enjoy after you've had it a bunch of times. It's the perfect formula for me. So, but in the Marvel scope, what would be your? I don't want to say like top 5, but like what are your favorite films in the MCU? This is a very loaded question.
Ooh.
But I'm very curious because I think you're very much like me in the sense of mostly positive about everything.
Yeah, pretty much. It's very rare that I've like come out of a Marvel movie and been like, that was horrible. Like, I think I can only think of one project that I've seen that I was like, I don't think I can ever rewatch this.
Yeah, there's only 2 for me in the MCU. No, there's...
Sorry, Secret Invasion.
Oh, yeah, that was tough. That was tough.
That was the one for me.
That's you know what? Like, if there's gonna be one, at least it's one that everyone universally agrees on.
Yeah, we're like not Secret Invasion. We're gonna pretend it doesn't.
I think for me that there's only 2 Marvel movies that, and Secret Invasion is the only show I probably haven't seen twice actually, but there's only 2 Marvel movies that I've never seen twice, and that's Thor: Love and Thunder and Eternals. But honestly, like Eternals, it was a bad movie. It just wasn't. I just wasn't excited to go see it again, so I just didn't.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But
I felt like it's one of those movies that you have to watch for like the cinematography and like the like really intrinsic storyline of it. Like if you go in and it's like, okay, I'm gonna like really hone in on like this specific character and their story, it's like more interesting that way. But I feel like they just threw so many characters at us at once that it was kind of hard for people to follow.
I think like my theory with
Eternals
was that like if you think back to 2021, it was you had Shang-Chi, which released in September, then you had Eternals November, and then Spider-Man No Way Home in December. So it was just like, it was sandwiched in between 2 traditional Marvel movies, 2 very good Marvel films, and then something that was completely different. And I think people weren't mentally like ready for the whiplash, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you on that.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah, I'm very insightful. You'll learn that about me. Very smart, very wise.
Yeah, that's why you started this podcast. Exactly. You gotta spread your knowledge.
I don't just scream at people. I have substance.
Yeah, there you go.
When flies aren't mocking me. I'm very easily distracted by flies. But back to my original question, what would you say your favorite movies in MCU are?
Okay. Are we including the shows in this too, or just the films? Okay, cool. Alright, because I feel like this is in no particular order, by the way. This is just what's coming to my brain.
Safe perspective.
But No Way Home is definitely on that list. I love No Way Home. Hawkeye's up there for me. I just felt like it was so well done. Also, like, Kate's one of my favorite characters, so I feel like I'm a little biased.
Yeah, you're even wearing purple right now.
There we go. Exactly. I watched that show and like purple just kind of slowly started to become
It's
my
your
color
identity.
after that, and I was like, uh-oh.
Every time you see purple,
So
you're
this
like,
is how
Jess.
I'm wearing. Yeah, I'm like, this is me. Between Rapunzel and Kate, I can't get away from it. Like, so yeah, those ones, and then we said top 5, right? So 3 others. I'm gonna throw one in there that I feel like is really subject to certain people, because I feel like some people really hate this movie, but Iron Man 3 is up there.
Interesting. Okay.
I really like that one. I think it's a lot that because of like the mental health aspect that they put in it, and it was one of the first Marvel films that kind of like really addressed it.
Walked so Thunderbolts could run. Correct.
Yeah, exactly. Which leads me to Thunderbolts is now up there. Love Thunderbolts.
It's deserved. Thunderbolts being up there is well deserved.
Very much so. And then a 5th one. I feel like it would probably be Civil War or Winter Soldier. I feel like it kind of shuffles around depending on like what I'm more in the mood to watch. Because like you get the classic Avengers in there, you know, but Winter Soldier was such a good one. I feel like right now, if I were to pick between the two, it'd probably be Winter Soldier.
You were probably the first person I've ever spoken to when ranking Marvel movies who one had Hawkeye in their top 5, which I don't hate, by the way, but did not include Infinity War or Endgame. So I really respect it, but I also feel a little bit shamed in the sense of maybe I'm a cliche, because my top 5 is Spider-Man No Way Home is my number 1. I can make that very clear. But of course, Spider-Man's one of my favorite characters, if not my favorite character of all time. So
of course,
why would it not be number 1?
Exactly.
Infinity War and Endgame, I honestly see as one, you know, because I like to watch them both together. Like, I haven't watched them separately in a very long time. It's just it's such a good just viewing experience. I love Captain America: Civil War. I truly love it. And then I actually really also love, I don't know, this may not be in my top 5. I'm just going to start naming some that I really love, just because I can't remember the rest of my list now. But like, I do really love Captain America, the first Avenger. I love Iron Man. I love Ant-Man. Everyone gets mad at me because I'm like, Ant-Man's a great movie. It's top 10 easily.
He's so fun. He was in my top 5 for a really long time.
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is there for sure. But my hot take, like my MCU hot take that everybody, like every time I say this, I get absolutely blasted. So it's a good thing that this is probably going to get clipped and it's going to be for charity. But I do unfortunately believe Winter Soldier is very overrated. But my stance on Winter Soldier is that it is a beautifully written movie. It's a very well made movie. It's just not a movie that I particularly love to rewatch. And like, I do find myself falling asleep when I rewatch Winter Soldier. Not because I don't like it. It's just, it is what it is. So, overrated does not mean bad movie by any means. I still think it's in the top 10, but I'm still probably going to get so many, like, I hate you comments, never rank again, never speak on Marvel again, whatever. It's fine. I've accepted it. I can't change. I tried.
Hey, everyone's got their own opinions, though, you know?
We're all opinionated. Totally cool. It's fine. It's fine.
There you go.
You know, I don't judge you. You don't judge me.
I feel like, too, like Infinity War and Endgame, I feel like, would be in my top 5 if they weren't so sad. Like, I think the reason... I don't watch them very much, and it's because they, like, rip me apart.
That's very fair.
I actually can't, emotionally.
For sure. For sure. There is it has nothing to do with the MCU, but, like, when The Wild Robot was in theaters, I fell in love with that movie, and I really related to it on a core level, and it tore me apart every single time. And then I made the mistake of watching it with my mother. And the reason why that's such a mistake, so my family's from Turkey, and my mom recently moved back to Turkey. And so it was like it was her first time visiting since she moved. And it was like, you know, have you seen The Wild Robot?
I haven't, but I know that the premise has to do with, like, motherhood.
You're gonna rip my heart out. It's a beautiful movie.
I know. It's on my to-watch. Like, they just put it on streaming somewhere, I think. Like,
good. After this, you're gonna watch it.
I need to. It's been on my to-do.
You're gonna thank me.
Okay. That's my
there you go. But, like, yes, it is this, like, idea of motherhood, and, like, a big part of it is knowing, like, if somebody is far away, like, there's a great distance, you still have love. you know? And just because they are far away doesn't mean they love you any less or your love is diminished in any way. And they always will come back. And it crushes me. And then seeing it with my mom, I couldn't handle it because that's what it reminded me of. And at that point, it was the fourth time I was seeing it in theaters. And I just like, all right, I need a break from this movie because I think I'm emotionally drained. But it is one of my favorites. But yeah, emotionally draining.
I feel like those ones, like, the ones you can connect to the most like that are just, like, gut-wrenching.
Yeah, for sure. Do you have an MCU hot take? I kind of just gave you one. I feel like it's only fair. You don't have to.
The Winter
Soldier. But it is only fair.
I feel like, okay, it's not so much a hot take because I feel like a lot of people agree with me, but I personally hate Steve's ending. I don't.
You don't
really
like that he went back to be with Peggy?
No. I hate it. It makes me so upset. I don't like it. It's so out of character.
You don't want him to have love?
He can have love in this era.
He can have love with Peggy's niece or whatever she was, whatever Sharon is.
No, I also hate Sharon. Sorry, Sharon lovers. She's like my least favorite MCU character. But no, but it's so funny because I see TikToks about it all the time. Like even now, like people will post like Steve was wrong, and like I go in the comments and everyone's like, yeah, Steve is wrong. Like,
ridiculous. Listen, he could come back and then it could all be avenged. You know, it's fine. You could have redemption. Steve Rogers, Chris Evans said that he feels like he's not invited to the party. That man is the silliest man I've ever seen in my life.
I know.
He literally could just be like, hey, I'm coming, and then he'll have an entire 20-minute scene at Doomsday, and everyone will cheer, and it'll be the greatest thing in the world. So who knows? Maybe he will come back as Captain America, and that won't be his ending.
It would be pretty cool. In my headcanon is that he went to visit her, and then went to get Nat for the Soul Stone, and then they couldn't bring Nat back, obviously, so then they went and lived somewhere else together forever.
I still can't believe, and maybe part of it is Chris Evans' budget. It's too big. But I am shocked that there was never really a serious consideration of giving us a show of Captain America delivering the stones. Even if it was like an animated show. Honestly, I feel like that would have been a good like animated space to do, because maybe you could get away with not having Chris Evans. You can still tell the story and it'd still be respectful in the sense of everything, I guess. Maybe one day.
Yeah. I want that so bad. I've seen people's like takes on that and like what they thought it would be like, and I just think that's such a cool concept.
It's like it's it's not really a what if, but I think, and What If was a great show for sure. Season 1, I actually have only seen season 1, but I feel like that would have been something that maybe would have resonated a little bit more. They are coming out with Eyes of Wakanda, which I'm very excited for. I remember seeing like a sizzle of it at D23, and it was really exciting.
Yeah, that one looks really good. I remember they showed us. I don't know if you also were at this panel. It was the animation.
Yeah, that's where I saw it. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I think that's where we both saw it. We were on opposite sides of the room
Probably.
Or something, but I remember they showed us like the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man clips, and then they showed us that, and then the Marvel Zombies, and I was like, Marvel Animation's kind of killing it. Like, this is really good.
What did you think of Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man?
I really liked it. I wasn't expecting, like, obviously I like Spider-Man, so I was like going in with the expectation that I would enjoy it, but I wasn't expecting to like it as much as I did.
Yeah, it was so well written.
I think the story really surprised me. Yeah.
And then the finale of it was just like the double whammy of, oh, it was really Doctor Strange going back in time, like it wasn't a different universe, and then the whole like Richard Parker is alive thing. Oh, spoiler. Richard Parker is alive. Crazy. You know what? No, it's been what, like 5 months? If you haven't seen it by now, shame on you. But I remember that was the finale came out, and that was the week Daredevil Born Again was about to release, and that was my first ever press junket in person. Well, no, that was my first press junket period, and I did it with Brad Winderbaum, who's the head of Marvel Television and Animation, and I walked in super nervous.
Oh yeah.
But he completely changed the vibe because he knew who I was because he'd been watching my Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man reactions. And so we just like he pulled me in a corner. We just talked about Spider-Man, like Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. I remember telling him I was like, "This like I need you to understand. I know Spider-Man like the back of my hand. I did not see any of this coming in the final act. So that's I cannot commend you guys enough. It is so well done. I can't get over it. Oh, I love that show.
It's so funny to me, like instances like that where I think sometimes I don't realize that like as content creators how many people see it sometimes and like who's seeing it, like because I had a very similar thing happen where I went to I had the opportunity to interview Jeff Trammell, who was like the show
yes
Spider-Man, and I walked into the room and he was like, I think I follow you.
I love that.
And I was like, this is so strange.
I love that.
Like I'm here to interview you about like a character I love and like you follow my content. Like,
it just like it
this is crazy.
It really actually it's very helpful in like a very selfish way though, because you feel like more like the even playing field in some ways. But it's like it because I think I don't know about you, I had a very hard time with imposter syndrome.
Yeah, I still do.
Like it really like hits me sometimes, and so like in those moments like that really just helps. But kind of like you're saying though, I ever since the Daredevil press junket, I have like I'm paying a little bit more attention, and I am seeing like these like filmmakers, crew members or whatever, and like I'm always a positive person, so I'm not like I'm never like having to change like my positivity about something. I'm still honest about it, but it is really nice to kind of like see them appreciate like just promoting it, you know, even if you hadn't seen it yet, they're all excited to see you talk about it. And I really felt that with Pixar's Win or Lose. I don't know if you watched it. Another beautiful show, and honestly some of the best Pixar has done. And a lot of their like animators were like following and watching, and it was just the sweetest thing. So it's fun like when you get to kind of see the other side of it.
Yeah. That's been on my list to watch too. I actually was just at I was walking around downtown Disney the other day, and I went through the Pixar hotel.
I saw it.
And they have a whole like exhibition set up right now of like all the Win or Lose art is up on the walls, and you can look at like the sketches and everything. It was so cool.
Truly,
and like I haven't seen the show, so I was just like, this is neat. I have no idea what it means, but
it truly is one of the best written shows. I'm talking about how like brilliantly written everything is in this podcast, but like it really is well written too. The story makes a lot of sense, and if you know what, if Iron Man 3 and Thunderbolts means a lot to you from like a mental health perspective, I think there's a lot in Win or Lose that you're going to really appreciate. So definitely watch. Again, you're just binging tonight. This is all you're going to do tonight. Wild Robot and Win or Lose.
It's just all the things that'll make me cry.
I expect full essays. Since you're a content creator, I'll give you passive video reviews. That's fine. That counts. But I expect it first thing in the morning.
Perfect. I'll get on
Love it. So with Spider-Man, because I feel like you being who you are, me being who I am, we can't not talk about Spider-Man a little bit more. I need first. I gotta know.
He's come up 3 times.
Yeah, I gotta know like your who you are as a person. Just go ahead and tell me your Spider-Man preferences. Like who's your number one? Who like? Let's just go through it. It's it's mandatory at this point.
So Tom's my number one Spider-Man.
Okay.
But I was an Andrew Spider-Man girly for
Daddy Garfield.
When I first got into the Spider-Man character, yeah. When I first got into the character, I saw Andrew's movies like in the theaters, and that's when I was like starting to like learn who Spider-Man was around that like period of time. And between that and like Ultimate Spider-Man cartoons, like that was like what got me
Disney
into the lore.
XD crushed with Ultimate Spider-Man. I will die on that hill with you. They crushed it. They crushed it.
Oh my god, it's so fun. I was rewatching because it's on Disney Plus, so like I was rewatching some of the episodes the other day, and it like cracks me up like Coulson as the principal, and then like
so good.
My favorite episode is the one where they like put on the play, and then he has to like Flash as Spider-Man, but he gets like sick, and so Peter has to go on as an understudy, and he's like singing. Oh my god, it's so good. It's such a good fan fiction show.
It's so I remember when Tom Holland was, right before he was announced, like I'm pretty sure Drake Bell was in the running a little bit. And or at least he was pushing for it, and there was some push for it. And I remember sitting there in high school, I was like, oh my gosh, is Ultimate Spider-Man going to be canon to the MCU? Is this how we find out Coulson's alive? Like, I know he's alive in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but that doesn't count.
I know. I feel like that one's so up in the air on if it's like canon or not. I still have to catch up on that show. I like watched half of it when it was like
First coming out.
when they were dropping episodes weekly, yeah. And then I just got like so busy and just forgot about it. I still have people ask me all the time, like, have you watched it? And I'm like, no, I'm so sorry.
I was watching it like
forgetting.
when, like you said, like when it first came out, but that was just because like the high of seeing Avengers and then like desperately wanting something that has something to do with the Avengers. And so it's like, okay, I wanna see, and like I remember Samuel L. Jackson like cameoed in the first episode, and I was like, okay, I want to see this, but I just kind of lost my momentum. Whoops.
The Winter Soldier came out during one of the seasons, and I will never forget.
Oh, the Hydra switch.
People were like, if you have not seen the Winter Soldier, do not watch this week's episode. And like my dad and my brother and I like all went to the movies and like saw that happen, and then like came home and watched the episode. And we were like, oh my god, like, this is the coolest thing they could have done. It's all connected.
They tried. They really tried, but this I feel like Kevin Feige just like, nah, we're good. We're good. That's always like every time I do a timeline video with the MCU. I always get like, you forgot Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., you're a fake fan. I'm like, listen, it's not on the timeline, it's not canon. It is what it is. It's not my fault. Take it up with Kevin.
Call Kevin up. What if you just call Kevin
like,
up?
let me just text Kev real quick and be like, yo, can you hop in my comments really quick?
The way Aman Vellani probably is doing that on our behalf is incredible, and I love
Probably. She what an icon. That's the word. I just completely forgot how to speak. It's just her Marvel, genius just stumped me, and I'm still stuttering. My goodness. Well, let me give you my.
She's just
an icon. She's truly an icon. I gotta give you my Spider-Man ranking. I think like I am leaning towards Andrew being my number one. It actually was Tobey. Tom's at the bottom, but not because he's a bad Spider-Man. Just, they're three very amazing Spider-Men, pun intended.
Yeah.
But like it's just how it it falls. But Tobey, like that's who I grew up with. I remember going to see Spider-Man 2 in the theaters, Spider-Man 3. My dad tried to take me. One of the first movies I actually remember my dad taking me was he took me to Spider-Man, and then he took me to the live-action Scooby-Doo in the same day. And he's like, okay, if I take him to 2 movies, he's going to be awake for the equivalent of 1 movie. But Spider-Man, I was like, no, I can't fall asleep. And I kept falling asleep. So I'd never really truly experienced it until it was on VHS. But,
that's so funny.
I really tried. But I was honestly, it was at the point where, again, I was like, I can't remember how old I was, maybe 4. But I was at the point where he would go back, and because I'd be awake at different parts of the movie, I genuinely thought I was watching different movies. I was always so confused. But
you're like, huh?
I was my poor dad. He tried that and Treasure Planet. He tried getting me to see fully in theaters, and it just never happened. Stuart Little 2 was the movie that finally cracked it, where I finally stayed awake.
That's a great one, though.
Big screen Berkan lore for you. But no, so I always loved Tobey, but then Andrew, just like, I just love his Spider-Man personality. And I think, like, I really love Amazing Spider-Man 2. I know a lot of people don't like it. I will defend it till I die. I really enjoy it, and I think that's kind of where I if you tell me, like, the 3 of them are returning, I'm most excited to see Andrew again, I think. I think that's where I'm at.
Yeah. I feel it's so interesting to hear everyone's like favorite Spider-Mans too, because I feel like everybody has a different reason or like a different story to go with it, and like every single one is valid. Like you said, like they're all such good Spider-Man, and like even too, like I know some people include like PS5 Spider-Man or like Spectacular Spider-Man, and they're like line up and like go for it, man. Like there's so many Spider-Man to choose from at this point. Like
it's it's cool. Fun because like Spider-Man truly is like a generational thing almost now, where it's like all these past like 5 decades, but like the past 30 years, there's been a Spider-Man for everybody growing up. Like we've had Tobey, we've had Andrew, we had Tom, but now we have like the Spider-Verse movies, and like one of my close friends has a son who's just turned 3 or 4, and he's like obsessed with the Spider-Verse, and he's always quoting. He's like, let's do this one last time. He's always quoting the Spider-Verse movies, and that's Miles Morales is his Spider-Man. And that's his, like, Spider-Man growing up. And so it's cool that that's kind of what we get to have and how Spider-Man's become. It's not like Star Wars where, there's decades in between. So it is really kind of a special thing. It's a special character to love, and I'm glad so many people do love Spider-Man.
Yeah. And he just, like, again, like, there's so many iterations and, like, versions of him or her.
You never know.
Or they.
Yeah, Gwen's.
There's so many. There's so many, and it's, like, never ending. Like, they can just continue this forever.
And I hope they do.
And
I hope they do.
Every generation can have a different Spider-Person. It's, like, so
I will
cool.
gladly go see a Spider-Man movie every 3-4 years for the rest of my life. No complaints how many times they change it. No complaints. I'd be happy. I feel like we also need to talk about... I'm sorry if I'm a little all over the place.
I love it.
I'm just going through. I'm making sure all the bases are covered. You know, there's something for everybody. And I feel like we do need to talk about the Disney parks. You know, full circle.
Of
we
course.
we started talking about how you made content about, you know, Marvel characters at Disney, so we got to talk about Disney. Do you have a preference between Disneyland and Disney World?
See, it's really tough because for a really long time I was a Disney World defender because that was my family's, like, go-to parks. Because I grew up on the East Coast, so those were the parks that were closer to us, and those were the parks that we would go to when we did Disney vacations. But since moving to California, I've gotten the opportunity to go to Disneyland a lot more.
Now it's home.
And yeah, and, like, I think too, like, there's a lot of little things that Disneyland has that Disney World doesn't have in terms of, like, the history of the parks or even just Avengers Campus, because I love
What? No. Lies.
But what crazy. But no, I think like, I wouldn't say that one is like better than the other, honestly. Like, it's really hard to choose between the two, and I think it really depends on what you're looking for in terms of the parks. Like, because I have favorite rides there that aren't here in California.
Right, totally.
Like Cosmic Rewind is, like, the best theme park ride I've ever been on, and that's in Epcot,
yeah, for sure,
you know?
for sure.
So, yeah.
I think I kind of agree with you, actually. So, like, I also, same boat. I grew up going to Disney World, and then I only started going to Disneyland when Galaxy's Edge opened, and so I was, like, an adult. But, like, I do notice, like, I have appreciation for, like, the history of it, absolutely. But I also, like, think, like, Disneyland does have versions of rides that I prefer better. You know, like, I like Hyperspace Mountain more than I ever would like Space Mountain. I like Pirates of the Caribbean better at Disneyland than I do in Florida, which feels like it shouldn't make a difference, but it does. Also, my hot Disney take, I love Mission Breakout significantly more than I love Tower of Terror. And it's not just because, like,
Me too.
it's not like a Marvel thing. It's just, like, I think it's a more enjoyable ride. And I kind of feel like maybe I enjoy Incredicoaster more than Rock and Roller Coaster. Again, I don't know what it is. I love walking around California Adventure, the pier. I love that I can do both parks and have a full Disney experience in a day. I don't have to have, like, 4 days and not be able to walk after. It just feels nice. I enjoy it. Of course, now with everything being added, I think it's going to be a closer debate. But, yeah, I will agree that there's things in Disney World, though, that I still love. Like, obviously, Cosmic Rewind, perfection. I love Flight of Passage. I know it feels a little bit dated now. I still really, really love it. So, yeah.
That ride, like, makes me cry every time I ride it. It's just, like, so... It's so cool.
It's such, like, a nice, like... I love being immersed in it so, like, deeply. And, like, the smells, like, feeling the banshees, like, breathing on your legs, and then just the movement of everything. It's just such, like, a fun experience. I never feel like I've wasted my time waiting for it. It's probably one of the few rides where I could wait, like, 2 hours for it and still enjoy.
Yep. No, I agree. Yeah, I'm really curious, like, what you were saying, too. Like, I'm really curious to see, with both parks, like, how things are going to be when they've been adding stuff. I know there's been, like, huge uproar about the Muppets leaving, and I'm, like, so upset about it because I like the Muppets, too, but I'm also so excited for
Monsters Inc. is
like,
one of my favorite movies of
cool.
all time, so I'm like, listen, if you need to get rid of the Muppets, you need to get rid of the Muppets. You gotta do what you gotta do. But also, like,
You're like, take
you
them
know
out.
what? I did it the right way. I never experienced Muppet Vision. I never experienced it. Therefore, I can never
What?
be upset. No,
You're
because, like,
kidding. That's
I would
crazy.
go, and, like, I never, like, I always love, like, I appreciate the Muppets. I do. Don't get me wrong. But I was always just like, there's other things I want to do. And most of the time, like, when I would go to Disney, I wouldn't do, like, I would rarely have a park per day. And so I'm always, like, doing Hollywood Studios and Epcot the same day. There was days where I did 3 parks in one day. So I was always, like, trying to get through my favorites. And also still enjoy just being in the park. So there's rides that I always sacrifice, and Muppets just happened to be one of them. Like, I was never going to...
Yeah, so you can get
like, I was like, it just is what it is with Hollywood Studios. Like, I love roller coasters, so I'm going to love Rock and Roller Coaster. My wife's one of her favorite rides is Tower of Terror, so I can't skip it, even though Mission Breakout is 1,000 times better. I still love Star Wars, so I love walking around Rise of Resistance. I will skip Smuggler's Run. Like, there's not just, like, it's not just Muppets that gets the boot. But, and then, like, I had a feeling, like, about 2 years ago, Muppets is probably going to leave, so I was like, you know what? I'll just never experience it, and I can live with that. I can be fine with it, in case I ever fell in love with it. Because I could fall in love with it, and then I'd be upset with everyone. But right now, I'm just chilling. So, it's all good.
Well, I guess now that it's gone, you can look up the 4K Ultra HD.
Yeah, I'll just watch it on YouTube. Like, I don't really watch movies in 3D
I'm sure there's
anyway.
800 versions.
It's fine.
Yeah.
But obviously, of course, I feel like I won because, like I said, Monsters Inc. is my favorite. I remember, I don't know if you noticed, but I, like, bawled at D23 when they announced Monsters Inc. I completely lost my mind. And I didn't know how to, like, sit there. And I was just like, I just watched Billy Crystal perform this iconic song, and now you're telling me I'm getting the Door roller coaster? Are you kidding me? Honestly, they could have...
I'm surprised it took them so long to come out with that. Like, that, I feel like that was, like, a given, like, ride.
It was, like, one of those things, it was like, yeah, that's gonna be right. It was like with Universal Studios, when Harry Potter and Deathly Hallows Part 2 came out, and the Gringotts was a roller coaster, it was like, yeah, okay, that's gonna be right, and then Universal was like, you know what, y'all are right. And 2 years later, there it was. It's like, we should probably do it, but, you know, better late than ever. I'd probably be okay if they replaced Galaxy's Edge with Monsters Inc. If we're being honest, that's kind of blasphemy. I kind of regret saying that.
So many Star Wars fans.
I kind of regret saying that. That's obviously not true, but I'm just trying to emphasize the love I have for Monsters Inc. And I will stop at nothing to see it. I try to. Another one, like, I feel bad not necessarily caring too much about, but I do respect the attachment, the nostalgia with it. I totally respect it, but I know Villains Land and the Cars Land, Piston Peak National Park is taking something away that people really love in, like, Tom Sawyer's Island. So I'm trying to, like, have empathy with it. I do have empathy. I'm not trying. I'm succeeding. I have empathy. But, like, it's at least two very exciting things, I think.
I'm really excited about the Villains Land. My only concern with I think the only concern I had with the Cars Land is it seems very out of place in Frontierland. At least to me. I like, now that they've been putting out, like, the photos for it, I'm kind of like, okay, like, I see what the vision is, but I feel like it's still kind of weird to, like, have, like, almost a test track equivalent in the middle of, like, the Wild West, but
it's gonna be a little tough going to seeing, you know, whatever Cars attraction it is, like, whatever it ends up being called, and then walking, like, 30 feet and then seeing the speedway, and you're just like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Exactly. But hey, I've learned from multiple occasions now, I don't give my opinion until I actively experience it, because sometimes I'm like, I don't know, and then you go and you're like, man, that was great.
Yeah,
like,
10 out of 10.
That was incredible. Sure. Yeah, exactly.
Is there a Disney IP that I have a feeling I could guess what you're going to say, but I'm going to let you say it. Is there, like, an IP or something that's not in the park that you're wanting them to do or maybe expand on?
I need more Tangled, man.
I knew it.
At least in the U.S. parks. I know. Well, I'm so jealous of Tokyo because I got that, like, beautiful ride, and I'm like, I need to go to Tokyo now.
Tokyo's my bucket list. It is number one on my bucket list. I'm dying.
It looks so good. Like, just everything I've seen about the Tokyo parks, they do so much over there. That's like,
it's supposed to be incredible. But hey, you have Tangled representation in Magic Kingdom. You got a bathroom.
They're just the bathrooms.
They're fine. You know, you got some lanterns there. It's okay. It's okay. All good things. All exciting things. Would you ever be upset if they... Oh, my light went away. Oh, I'm in darkness.
Oh, no.
Would you ever be upset if they did a Tangled sequel?
Well, they kind of
besides
did.
The TV series.
Have you seen the... Besides the TV series, but... No, I feel like... I feel like it depends on the story. Like when they did the TV series, the story was really well written, and like I think that's why so many people love the series too, because like it continued the story, and it continued like it directly connected to like Rapunzel's like connection to the sun drop and everything, and like why Mother Gothel took her and like all this other stuff, you know. So I think if they were to come out with a sequel, if they did it in a way that was like the story was like a good continuation, and it wasn't just like we're doing this to make a sequel because we can, you know, then I think I would be cool with it.
Yeah, that makes sense. I always wanted a Tangled sequel for sure, and I think everything you just said is accurate. How would you feel if they did move forward with the live action, if it actually happens?
So I know a lot of people have a lot of opinions about the live actions. I've been kind of mixed on them. Like, I feel like some of them I've really enjoyed, and others I've kind of been like, I could have done without that. But, like, I think the thing with that is, like, no one's forcing anybody to watch the live actions. Like, if you don't want to watch it, just don't watch it, you know? So I feel like I would be so... If they do end up going forward with it, like, I'll absolutely go see it. But, like, I also can remember in my brain, like, okay, if I don't like the live action, I never have to watch it again. Like, I have the original. Like, I can watch that anytime I want, you know?
That's true. So, are you genuinely, or are you typically for live actions? Like, did you enjoy Lilo and Stitch? Are you going to see How to Train Your Dragon?
I am going to see How to Train Your Dragon. I'm very excited about that. I feel like I have kind of mixed thoughts on live actions right now, like, because a lot of times when they're announced, I'll be like, oh, that's really cool, like, that movie was really good. But I also feel like there's a part of it that kind of takes away the aspect of animation and the importance of what animation is, because they're just turning all the animation movies into live action ones. And there's certain things that you can do in animation styles that don't translate well to live action. So I feel like I'm mixed on it, but I always like to give them a chance, because you never know. Like, sometimes they're like out of the park, like phenomenal remakes, and it's really cool.
It's funny, like, so I don't know if you've seen How to Train Your Dragon yet. I've seen it twice now, and I remember both times I've just been, because I've always been like, okay, if you're going to do a live action adaptation, it has to be somewhat different, right? There's aspects I want similar, but it has to be like a different story. You have to be expanding on something. But How to Train Your Dragon, that's not necessarily the case. It is quite literally a shot-for-shot remake. But it's so well done, in the sense of, like, they bring it to life so perfectly. It almost feels like a love letter to the original movie and the fans, and because it's the same director who's also, like, expanding on it, I feel like the art isn't cheapened. I don't know, it's a weird, like, feeling. It's the first time I ever, like, experienced that. But then you have movies like The Lion King, which is probably one of the few Disney live action movies, that and Mulan, that I've ever really, like, openly negative about. Where it's just like, it didn't really feel like it had any heart. It was all the same. The story was the same, script was the same, characters the same, outside of, like, some other jokes that were expanded upon and a Beyonce song. But it didn't feel right. And then Mulan, you just took away Mushu in the song, so I was always going to be sad.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is like, if How to Train Your Dragon is a standard, it'll be interesting to see how they progress. I know they're trying to do Hercules.
Oh, see, that's one that I'm like, that could be so good if they do it right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, this is where it's always like, if they do it right, it could be so good.
That's been the big news, is like, whether, or the past couple weeks, the rumor mill is that Russo brothers want to make it about Hades and center around Hades. They want to call it Hades, but Disney wants something a little bit more faithful. I think if it's Hercules, you can actually get away with not being totally faithful, because so many people have done Hercules. We'll see.
The lore is so
there's so many
too.
options for
like,
sure.
You could go into so much more, like, other mythology.
Yeah, I think, like, you could do a completely different story, but as long as the music makes sense, it makes sense. You know?
Yeah. No, exactly.
Do you have, just to finish things up really quick, is there one movie this summer or for the rest of the year that you're really excited about?
I gotta say Fantastic Four.
Good answer.
I'm, like, super looking forward to that. It's so close now, too. It's like
close. We're
away.
almost there. The tickets are in my Cinemark app. I'm ready to go. I'm pumped. Awesome.
We're almost
there. I agree with you. I think that's everything we have for this episode. First of all, I want to say again, thank you so much, Jess, for being part of this. This isn't like the most technically perfected podcast in the world. I don't know if you've noticed, but like I've heard an echo this entire time, so it's probably gonna be an episode.
No, I didn't even hear
it. It definitely came from my end. But regardless, though, the whole point of this isn't to have like this extremely well produced thing. It's to kind of have a fun conversation, and ultimately, we are trying to give back to charity with this. If you're still listening, thank you. If you're watching on YouTube especially, or seeing clips on TikTok, thank you, because again, 100% of that revenue is going to go to a charity. I have not decided which charity, so Jess, if you have one that you want this episode particularly to donate to, I'm all for it, or maybe we can leave it up to the comments. I don't know. Regardless, it's going to go to a good cause, which is very exciting.
That's super cool.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. I hope to see you in person very, very soon. Thank you guys so, so much.